2006 RSX base model. Looks to be satin silver metallic. 196K, runs and drives. Front end is totally stripped off with all the fenders, bumper, lights, and hood. Definitely tells the base model with the plastic intake manifold. Suspension components is gone. Driver's side door is gone. Even the rear suspension components are gone. This is crazy. Got a little bit of damage here on the quarter panel that could have told the car out. And look at this rust area. This is what I'm facing right now on my RSX. I got a little rust spot right here, but just look, this is the same instance. So I need definitely to take care of this before it gets out of control like this. Rear end is also totally stripped off. Rear bumper and taillights. Rear hatch is still in place. Interior stripped out. Surprisingly, the passenger side door is still there. And of course, the OEM cloth seats are gone. I saw in the pictures, has a nice suede and mesh material for the seats. Those are definitely taken real quick, along with the coordinating back seats. Right now, people have just stashed a bunch of trash in here. Now, one thing I do need is this plastic piece right here. I got some broken tabs, so I'm gonna go ahead and take this plastic piece home. Hopefully this is not more than $5. And one thing I definitely need is the sunroof. My sunroof has got some rust areas in the joints, and you can see it's bulging up around the rubber. So I'm gonna go ahead, pull the sunroof back, undo the sunroof, and I believe these sunroofs are about 28 bucks. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab this for my RSX. So to manually open and close the sunroof when you have no power to the car, this works for most Honda models. This little tab here up on the ceiling, you need to go ahead and take a screwdriver, pop this tab off. There's gonna be an Allen head screw, and you go ahead and take your Allen keys, and you go ahead and twist that screw, and you actually see the sunroof go backwards or forwards, depending on the way you twist that screw. So let's go ahead and open up the sunroof and see if we can get this thing removed. Okay, I went ahead and pulled the sunroof all the way back. There's actually 2 more screws on the back side. Let me go ahead and show you. So I don't know if you guys can see from this angle, but there's actually a screw right about there. So I need to go ahead and undo that screw on this side and this screw on this side. And hopefully okay, let's go ahead and get started on this 2002 Acura RSX sunroof replacement. Now, why replacing the sunroof? Let me go ahead and show you why. As you can see here, there's a little bulge going on. Right here on the front, there's also a bulge. And then right here on the front passenger side, there's a bulge. Essentially, how the sunroof panel is assembled is you got the main glass, you got a piece of metal on the perimeter, and then you've got this rubber seal on top of that piece of metal. Now what's going on is that piece of metal underneath this rubber seal is rusting. So you got that bump out right there, you got that bump out, and you got that bump out. And from what I've read, the earlier model RSXs, like the 02 to 04, are more prone to the sunroof rusting, such as my situation. Now the sunroof piece that we got from the junkyard, this is from an 05, 06 RSX, which were the last years of the Acura RSX. So this one should not be prone to rusting. I don't see any traces of rust whatsoever on this one, so I think we're good. Now, before I go ahead and install the junkyard sunroof onto my Acura RSX, I'm gonna go ahead and take a wet rag and just wipe this thing down. That way we're starting fresh. So let me go ahead and clean this thing up. Okay, now the sunroof is cleaned off on the top side and on the bottom side. Let's go inside the car and take the next step. Okay, first step, go ahead and take the sunshade and roll it backwards. And the second step, go ahead, put the key ignition and turn it to 2 position. And let's go ahead and crack the sunroof a little bit. And now we have access to the Allen head bolts. 1, 2, and 3. So let's go ahead and take those bolts off. I know the rear bolt's gonna be the worst. So I'm gonna try and do the rear first, and then get the front side, because those are the easy ones. So let me go ahead, take those bolts off best I can here. Okay, now that we have the old sunroof glass removed from the car, you can see here, this is where it mounts to. There's a mounting hole right there, and on the back side. This one is the worst. Same thing goes for the driver's side, rear, and two on the front. Okay, and the tools I'm using for this process is a 3/8 ratchet, a 3/8 extension, 3/8 swivel, and also a 5mm Allen head socket. Now, this is the only tool I had at the junkyard when I removed it from the junkyard car. This thing just did not give me much leverage, so it's actually a blessing to use my 3/8 ratchet on this process. So if you're going to the junkyard, this thing will get the job done. It's a little bit tougher, but just go ahead, be prepared with the ratchet. Makes life a whole lot easier on this process. Okay, here's a more in-depth look on the underside of the sunroof glass we got from the junkyard. As you can see, this is the metal frame, and then here's the welded joints right there. There's no rust. There's also no rust on the side over here. And on the opposite side, there's no rust on that joint. And I'm not seeing any rust on this side as well. When we get done with this, I'll go ahead and show you my OEM sunroof glass and show you how rusted on the other side it is. Okay, so the final step, let's go ahead and take our junkyard sunroof glass and go ahead and install it on my 2002 Acura RSX. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, all three Allen head bolts have been snugged up. Do not over tighten these things. Bolt number 1, bolt number 2, and bolt number 3. And same scenario on the driver's side. Bolt number 1, bolt number 2, and bolt number 3. Okay, there's just one more thing to do. Let's go ahead and turn the ignition on the car and go ahead and test the sunroof to make sure it sits flush with the body of the car, and also if it goes backwards and forwards. Let's go ahead and turn the car on. Alrighty guys, that about wraps up the replacement sunroof piece we got from the junkyard. Installation was a lot easier than the removal process at the junkyard since I had the right tools. Now if you got any questions on this installation, feel free to comment below. And if you guys like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching and have a fantastic day.